Do you hear me talking to you across the water, across the deep blue ocean, under the open sky?
So the way that Becca and I met was we actually had a class together.
The fact that we were even in that class at the same time was like a miracle, because I was on my mission when registration was happening, and so my mom like registered for me all my classes, and I gave her like explicit instructions. I was like, I don't want it before this time. The only one that kept like popping up was military physical fitness, and she just kept dismissing it. She's like, she doesn't want to be in military physical fitness at this early time. The next week on my P-Day, she told me what my classes were, and I was like, military physical fitness? I was like, that sounds crazy. Like, I don't want to be in that class. And that's where I met Jason, and I was just so impressed by him. Like, he was always so encouraging to people and like cheering them on, and I thought that was really cool.
The first day when I went, it was my first class of all of college. It's my first semester, and the first day I was kind of meeting people. I was a little bit like awkward, nervous. I didn't really know what to do, who to be. Throughout the class, I started to just talk to people and have a lot of fun. And I remember when I met her, I thought she was super cool, and I really wanted to get to know her and be good friends with her. But I just really wasn't sure to go about it. I'd never even asked a person on a date in my whole life.
We were really sociable like in that class, and one of our mutual friends, they described us, the two of us, as like the social pillars of that class. And so we were always the one that was like chatting with people, inviting people to do things. And at first, I mean, I thought he was really cute because look at him, he's so cute. But we were just like friends, and I was just fresh off my mission. All the dates that were going on were like terrible, and I was like, I'm over this whole thing. Like, I'm just trying to have fun. And he would throw parties. He would like throw a pancake party or a cereal party or a soda party. And he claims that they were just for me, but I don't know.
We kind of grew a friendship just talking in class, and then I eventually ended up asking her if she wanted to be on a volleyball team, intramurals. Some of the things I kind of noticed about her is that she was very social and confident in herself. So I really liked that. It was nice in that aspect. I wasn't concerned about kind of if she was worried about impressing others, but mostly just kind of having a good time. Physically, she tried hard, and she worked really hard. It was a hard class. I mean, at the beginning, our teacher even told us that we were all just weak, and that eventually we'd get better. So it was really funny, but she would just put in the work.
Our very first date, I wanted to go on a hike so bad, and I was just like, I was asking everybody I knew if they would go on this hike with me, and like no one was gonna come. And so I was like, whatever, I'm just gonna make a hodgepodge group of random people that I know. And so I invited Jason, and there was just like a small group of us, and we went on this hike, and it was like a blizzard. It was so fun, and I saw like he was super adventurous. Like, he would like climb the trees and stuff with me, and other people were like not about that.
It wasn't like a date that I was trying to go out with a specific girl, but it was me and my roommates. We just wanted to go to one last haunted house before they all closed. And so I had asked two other people before I even asked her. But that same day, we ended up going on a hike with some friends, and she was there. And so while we were there, I had to text her to ask her on a date because I didn't want to tell the other people that we were with. Like, it was just the other guys, and so I was like, ah. So I sent her a text and was like, hey, we're going to a haunted house later if you'd want to come.
And it was funny because I saw it like while we were on the hike, but I was like, why would he text me this when we're in this group? I was like, I'm going to pretend I didn't see it until I get home. But so then I saw it and I responded. I was like, yes, that sounds so fun. Can I bring my friend? And he was like, oh yeah, like my roommate hasn't found a date yet. Like, she can come for him. And I was like, oh, so it's like a date? I was like, I didn't know it was a date, but how convenient.
So she said yes, and that was kind of our first date. But that was mostly, I'd say it was just hanging out as friends. It was with my same two roommates that we played volleyball with. So we were already all good friends, and we all just kind of went together.
But as it turns out, my friend was super tired. She didn't want to go on this date. She's like not a dater. She was against that. And so with anybody else, I would have been like, sorry, I can't go on this date. But I just felt like I needed to go on this date so much. Like, there was every reason to not go, but I like wanted to go so bad. And I just really felt like it was like more than I just wanted to. Like, I felt like I needed to. And so I found one of my other random friends to go with his roommate, and we go on this date, and it was really fun. At a haunted house, and I think both of us, we didn't want to like lead the other person on because we had a class. We don't want to make it awkward, but I'm like, in a haunted house, you gotta hold on to someone. So I was like, can I hold on to your arm? I was like, so scared, and it was so embarrassing because I was like, before we went in, I was like, oh yeah, whatever, like they're not scary. I've worked in haunted houses, but it was fake because I actually get scared, and so I held on to him. But we didn't hold hands because that would be too crazy, too forward, you know, just arm holding for me. Keeping me safe.
I just had a great time at that. That was amazing. It was super fun. Like, it was one of the most fun dates I'd ever been on, and it wasn't actually a real date.
And I forgot to mention, he didn't even hug me after we went to the haunted house. Didn't even give me a hug. So I was like, I guess it's not even, like, I guess we're just homies, which I was like, okay, that's good. So that was, the haunted house was like our real official first date, but Jason, he doesn't count as our first date. He's like, that's not our first date. And I'm like, that's ridiculous. It was.
And so then it kind of made me realize that maybe that's what I'm looking for. And so later, it was actually a couple of weeks later that I was thinking about this, and it kept coming back to it. And so I was sitting doing one of the devotionals actually at school, on the Tuesday devotionals, and I was thinking about, I don't even know what the devotional is about, but I was thinking about her. I was like, oh, I really should just ask her on another date to know if I want to go out with her again. I don't want to like lose the whole thing.
So fast forward now, it's like we have devotionals every Tuesday, and I love going to devotional. I would go every Tuesday, but this particular day, I was just like not feeling good. I was feeling really like anxious. I was like, I'm not gonna go to this devotional. I'm just gonna go home and like do my own personal study. And so that's what I decided to do. And so I walk through the building that the devotional is in, and I walk out, like I'm leaving, I'm going home, and the Spirit like stops me, and it says, turn around and go back and go to the devotional. And I was like, it gave me like, I want to just go home, like I'm hungry, I don't feel very good. The Spirit was like, go back into that devotional. And I was like, okay. So I go back in, and the devotional was beautiful. It was all about like Christ and the atonement and just trusting Him. And so I was feeling a lot better. And they had free pancakes after every devotional. And so I was like, okay, perfect.
And then she was in line for the hubcakes. I was in line, I thought, I went by myself because I wasn't with my roommates. I just went by myself to get a pancake. It's like a singular pancake they give you. It's really not worth it. But I was like, I'll go today. I saw her back in the line, but she was with another guy. And so I was like, oh no, it was over. I figured, I was like, okay, I just kind of like let it go for a second. She saw me and she ended up coming over and she talked to me, and I was like, oh, who are you with? Turns out it was just her brother. So it was good news for me.
And so I'm like, I'm ditching this fifth wheel. I'm gonna go talk to Jason. And we like stood in the hallway eating our pancakes, just like no anything, just eating them in the hallway for like an hour before we went upstairs and talked for even longer. And we were just chatting it up, having a really good time. And this lady comes with a flyer, and she was like, free pizza pie cafe if you come to this little meeting. And we're like, you're kidding me, that's so fun, we have to go.
We were like, oh, we should go, it'd be super fun just to go. And after that, I knew that I'd like to, because we were just talking for like 2.5 hours. And that happened, but I had a work meeting that night, so it was all really tight and complicated. So I ended up having to leave my work meeting running, got to the car, I had to drive.
And so I'm standing at the street corner that night after his work meeting. He like flies down the hill. He's like, get in. We like barely make it, because if you were too late, they said you couldn't get free pizza. Obviously, of course, you had to hear their little spiel. And so we make it and we eat the pizza.
We got the pizza, and she's like, let me pray and bless the food. And so it was just kind of another thing that added to it. It's like, this is so important to her.
This was another thing that I thought was really admirable about Jason. Like, here I am, I wanted to be selfish and talk to this cute boy that I liked and eat our pizza, but the lady that gave the presentation, she was sitting alone, and he was like, we should go sit by her. And I was like, that's interesting. I was like, why? Like, he notices people. He always like sees people and their needs, and just like cares so much about other people. And so I was like, that's really cool. So we went and sat by the lady.
We were talking to the girl that was there and all the different options of going. And it turns out that if you're married, you can go for free almost. They like pay you to go and be like a group leader. And so we were just asking her, and she's like, I was like, oh yeah, I'm not married, but like, what is this?
And she's like, I know you guys aren't married yet, but like, there's an options for married people. And it was like our second day, and so we were like, oh, that's really nice. Thanks so much for that.
We weren't even dating at that point, and neither of us really said anything. We just kind of sat there and let that sit.
But he kept touching my knee with his knee under the table, and I was like, that's suspicious. Do you know that your knee's touching my knee? Because I know that your knee's touching my knee.
After that, I knew that I wanted to go out with her specifically and nobody else.
He was like, am I taking you home right now? And I was like, in my head, I was like, no, don't take me home. I don't want to go home. And he's like, you like chocolate? And I was like, yeah, I like chocolate. And so we got hot chocolate, and we walked around and looked at art in the Sephora building. And then I went home that Thanksgiving break and told everyone in my extended family that I was going to marry this Jason fella. And they were like, oh, you're not even dating him? And I was like, mark my words. All right, I'm going to marry him. And here we are.
Some of the things that I think that I love about her, and that other people really have noticed about her, that would use to describe her, is just, she's so happy. She's always upbeat, and she wants to be kind of not necessarily the life of the party, but she just wants to make sure that everybody's happy and having a good time. She's very gospel oriented and focused on just kind of the things that are so important. And so in everything that she does, she brings the gospel into it.
And the whole entire Christmas break, we were like chatting every day, like FaceTime each other and like talking. And I just wanted to tell him I loved him so bad. Like I I loved him and I wanted to tell him, and my mom was like, don't tell him, you have to let him tell you first. And I was like, but I just want to tell him. And some of my friends were like, if you love him, you should just tell him. And I was like, you're right. But I didn't want to do it over the phone. So I was like, whatever, I'm going to have to hold my peace and wait until we're back. And so I went the day earlier, so no one else was in the complex because it unlocked at midnight and everyone was going to move in on that Monday, but we were there that night. And I like wanted to tell him so bad. And I was like, I need to tell you something. And he was like, he seemed really nervous. And I was like, I feel like he knows what I'm going to say. And I feel like he doesn't want me to say that. So I was like, never mind. And he always is like, oh, what were you going to say? But he didn't do that. And I was like, okay, never mind, I guess. I guess I'll just wait. Maybe I should relax. Like, we haven't been dating that long. It would actually been month that day. But then I still, like, everything about him was just so, he's so good. He's just such a good man, and he just cares about people, and he's so patient, and he's everything that's good in the world. And so then later that night, I was like, I have to tell him because I just love him. And so I was like, I just told him that I'd fallen in love with him. And then he said he loved me, and I was like, then why were you so nervous when I was gonna tell you that?
It was that moment that I really knew that I wanted to keep going with her. And I had known that before, but it was especially after break, not seeing her and then seeing her again, just kind of made me know that I did love her. And that even though I was nervous at first, it was still just, it was a great day. So with the proposal, I think it's one of the most proud things I've ever done in my life. It was one of the most difficult things to pull off because she is notorious for ruining every surprise ever.
The proposal, when Jason proposed to me, it was so good. He was so sneaky and so sly, but I knew. But he was so convincing, I had no choice but to believe him.
Her family will tell you every surprise they were trying to do, she figures it out somehow, or she just begs to know. And so it wasn't like it was a big secret. I mean, we had talked about getting married, and I told her I wanted to marry her. We actually like went ring shopping. We ordered the ring. That was my mistake that I told her we had already ordered it. And so I wanted to make sure that it was some sort of surprise. And so I had to try and do all these things. I took a Tuesday. I got off work. I stopped working Tuesday. I used to work Tuesdays from 12 to 5. It was like the worst ever. But I finally got it off. And so I went that Tuesday. I told her. She'll say that she knew all about this. She didn't know.
But this is where it gets crazy because I knew that he went there. It was a random Tuesday. And like, I was just like, what if he went to Utah today to talk to my parents? Like, I just knew it happened. It was so convincing. Like every little lie, I don't hate to call it a lie. It wasn't like he was lying, but every little thing was so perfectly crafted. It was like too perfect.
I told her I had a meeting in the temple in the morning for some reason, and then I was gonna go to work. But I actually drove to Utah, and I went to go talk to her parents about asking her to marry me.
Because he told me he had a temple meeting that morning, but he worked on Thursdays. And I was like, the temple doesn't just call people in for meetings, like that doesn't happen. But his phone was being all funky because I love to stalk his location just for fun. I'm like, I wonder where he's at. And it was off. And I was like, that's very suspicious. But I'm like, you were at the temple, like it would be off. And I was like, okay, that's very suspicious. I was like, tell me I'm crazy to my coworker. And they're like, you're crazy. And I was like, but what if? And they're like, but what if he was in Utah talking to your family? I was like, I just know that he is. I was so excited. I was trying to like to not get my hopes up so high, but I was just so excited that he had gone.
And it was all a secret. And I told them like, they can't tell her. It's all a big secret. It's gonna happen on her birthday, and that it would just be like a big surprise. And they were super excited.
But then I was just like, you know what I thought today? I was like, what if you like went to Utah and talked to my family? And he was like, oh, that's crazy. And he was like, how did you think that? I was like, I just knew. But I didn't really know because he did so good. He was so sneaky. He would be like, he showed me a text from the ring maker. He's like, the ring's not even gonna be here for 2 weeks. And I was like, you're kidding me. I was like, that's devastating.
Her brother's getting married March 15th. And so she really wanted to be married or engaged at her brother's wedding because she didn't want to have like, oh, does he get in the picture or not? They're just dating, or they're getting married, you know? And so she really, really wanted it.
How convenient. It's my birthday. He's like, you should look cute. It's your birthday. We should go take pictures in the mountains. I'm like, how convenient. That's so sneaky. I was like, is this my proposal? But I knew the ring wasn't there. And I was like, is my ring here? And he would get so sad.
And so I had to play it. I went to her house one day and I was just like so sad. And I tried to pretend to be the most sad and depressed ever. And I just like felt awful. And I was telling her how sad I felt and how horrible I felt that I messed it up, that I couldn't get the ring in time. And so just trying to sell it as hard as I could. And so she finally started to believe it after that she felt bad. She didn't want to keep bringing it up when I felt so bad about it. Day of, we went. It was her birthday. I was like, oh, we want to go on a hike for your birthday. And then I had a friend, he had a camera. So I asked him to borrow the camera. We didn't want anybody else to be there. So we borrowed the camera and we brought it with us to this hike. It was like this tunnel. through a mountain, and we went through the tunnel to the backside. I was like, oh, like we have to get cool pictures on your birthday.
We go up to this like beautiful spot in the mountains. We go through this hike and we like set the camera up. And I'm like, this would be a really cute proposal right here, but the ring's not here, whatever. And so I'm like, okay. But then here we are standing in the camera and he's not posing for pictures. He's like chatting to me. And I'm like, that's suspicious. Why are you just chatting with me right now? Like, who do you think you are? If this isn't my proposal, I'm gonna be so devastated.
And it took me a while. I was stressed. I did not know how to go about this whole process. There was so many times I tried to move my legs, I couldn't go down. I was trying to move, but I couldn't. It was so hard. And so finally, after like 15 minutes of standing there and just like rambling and saying so many things, I finally got to propose, and she was super excited.
And my family knew, and all my aunts knew too, and they're horrible secret keepers. And I don't know how they kept it from me. Like, they did so good keeping these secrets. It was so perfect. Everything about it was perfect.
Becca, I want to tell you that I do love you, and I'm so grateful for you and all that you do. And I can't believe that you'd want to be with someone like me, but I'm so excited for all that we're going to have together and all that we're going to get to do together, the adventures we'll get to go on. And I just want you to know that no matter what, I'm going to be by your side in every scenario, no matter what's going on, that we're a team and we're going to do it together.
Hi, Jason. I am so excited to marry you, like beyond excited. Everything that's good in the world, you are, and you're more than anything I ever thought that I would get. And I'm so grateful for you. And I love you so much. I'm so excited to be with you for eternity. And I'm so glad that God put us in each other's paths so that we can grow together and learn together. And I just love you so much. Love you so much.